From stories across the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Nitya Delivera.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Vinipurarachi, and now let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news. An increase in water levels in several reservoirs and rivers due to bad weather. A methodology for bulk traders to purchase goods from the PETA wholesale market. COVID patients who do not show disease characteristics are to be quarantined in their residences. India's vaccination program is in a critical stage. The Ministry of Agriculture says that there is no shortage in chemical fertilizer required for the yellow season. A Chinese exploration spacecraft successfully lands on planet Mars. On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with local stories. Water levels in several reservoirs and rivers have gone up with the onset of the heavy rainy weather condition affecting many parts of the island. As a result, several low-lying areas have been inundated. The Sri Lanka Air Force has deployed MA-60 and Y-12 type of aircraft to monitor floods creating in the western and southern provinces. The flood situation in Baduraliya, Napoda and Agalawatha in the vicinity of Kaluganga and Akurasa and Panadugama in along with the Nilwala River have come under special scrutiny of the aircraft. The Bell 212 and the Mi-17 helicopters are placed in readiness for deployment in event of any emergency life-saving operations. The Beechcraft of the Marine Observation Task Force are also being prepared for this purpose. Other aircraft will engage in the transportation of food and essential items in the needy public. The programs are being implemented under the instructions of Commander of the Sri Lanka Air Force, Air Marshal Sudarshana Pathirana. Water capacity in the Castlereagh and Mausa Calais reservoirs were reported to increase due to heavy rainfall. However, excess water levels have enabled to maximize power generation to the optimum extent in the Vimala Surendra, Lakshapana, New Lakshapana, Canyon, Polpitia and Samanala hydropower generation stations. Water level in the Kaluganga has also shown an upward trend due to incessant rains lashing in the Kalutara district. Our correspondent says that Bulat Sinhala Molkava main road has come underwater at 3 main locations. Vehicle transport in the Bulat Sinhala Kalutara main road has been obstructed due to flooding. Our correspondent further says that nearly 100 houses in the Sitavaka Divisional Secretariat Division have also been submerged due to the overflowing of the Kalaniganga. Several low-lying areas including Hangwella, Sevalavatta, Javiragoda and Valavatta have also been inundated. However, it has also been reported that water level in the Hanwella area of the Kalani River has somewhat gone down in comparison to yesterday. The water level in the Kala Oya has also risen accordingly. Two sluice gates of the Rajagana Reservoir have opened by 2 feet each. As a result, a water flow of 1,272 cubic feet is being released from reservoir to the Kala Oya in every second. The Department of Irrigation says that water levels in the river valleys also remain at a higher level. Therefore, residents in the areas have been advised to remain vigilant. Several locations in Kalutara, Nagoda area and facing the threat of earth slips. Vehicle transport of the Udabedagama road has come to a standstill as a result of an earth slip that has taken place at the Gonadeniya 70 Kanda area. The Nagoda Pradesh Sabha has taken measures to quickly restore the situation. However, several houses at the base of the mountain were also damaged. The coastal areas are surrounding the Muthupanthia Island in Arachikattuachilo has been subjected to sea erosion as a result of the prevailing inclement weather. Our correspondent says that road along the beach front from Muthupanthia Island to Udaipur has been subjected to severe erosion. Meanwhile, the Department of Meteorology says that deep depression developing in the southeastern parts in Arabian Sea has turned into a minor storm. The water level in Kaluganga in the Ratnapura area is reaching slip level. It has also been reported that troops in the Kuravita Army Camp, police officials in Ratnapura and tradie volunteer officials have been placed in readiness to meet an emergency situation. Several locations in the Gampaha town have also come under water due to heavy rains. Our correspondent says that soldiers of the 6th Artillery Regiment are engaged in operations to provide relief to displaced residents in Gampaha. A media spokesman of the Sri Lankan Navy, Captain Indika Silva, says that the Navy is also getting ready to provide relief to the displaced.
Now, Trade Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says that wholesale traders throughout the island have the opportunity to purchase the goods from the wholesale market in PETA from tomorrow. The minister, after engaging in an observation tour in PETA today, told that the bulk traders need to obtain a permit from their respective regional secretaries in order to receive the goods. Travel restrictions for the entire island have been imposed since 11 p.m. on the 13th of this month. The group, including the minister, engaged in a monitoring tour in order to find out the difficulties encountered by wholesale traders as a result of the travel restrictions. The Traders Association enlightened the minister regarding the fact that there is no shortage of goods at the PETA Wholesale Trade Exchange. They added that this is mainly due to the Sri Lanka Customs appropriately issuing stocks of imported items to wholesale suppliers. The locally produced items are also being exchanged without any obstruction. It has also been decided to issue permits only for island-wide bulk traders from tomorrow. The decision has been taken following a discussion between the importers of essential food items, representatives of the Traders Association and the police. The main centre for the island-wide distribution of the upcountry vegetables is the Kapetipola Special Economic Centre. This centre has remained almost in a deserted state today as a result of the imposition of travel restrictions. The traders pointed out that although more than outstation traders visited the economic centre today than yesterday, they were disappointed as the farmers have failed to bring their produce to market. Permission has also been granted for the Sathosa supermarkets and cafeterias to cater to the orders of dried food and cooked food. The national television correspondents have witnessed as to how labourers in the Colombo city fulfilled their duties. State Minister Lasantha Aligewana and the Colombo District Secretary Pradeep Yasaratne have also participated in the observation tour. Island-wide operations have been conducted today as well to find out whether the police are violating quarantine laws. 20,000 police officials have been engaged in duties at the roadblocks and mobile patrols. In this connection, Senior DIG in charge of the Western Province, Desubandhu Tenakon, engaged in a tour in Piliandala and Casbah areas today to supervise the operations. Vehicles are permitted to enter the Southern Expressway only to engage in essential duties. Police said that the majority of the masses have acted in accordance with quarantine laws yesterday as travel restrictions have been imposed for the entire island. The travel restrictions have prevented the people providing food to the beggars these days. The PETA Police and Trade Association on Essential Items were engaged in a program to distribute food to beggars in the city in front of the Bodhi tree in PETA today. The government has decided to provide a 5,000 rupee relief bag of items through the Sathosa Institute for people residing in the city. The government has decided to provide a 5,000 rupee bag of relief items through the Sathosa Institute for the people residing in isolated areas and for the families undergoing quarantine. 20 types of essential consumer items are included in the bag of consolation items. Trade Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardene also engaged in an observation tour at the Valisara Sathosa Wholesale Storage Complex.
Moving to the local update of the COVID-19 pandemic, State Minister Sudarshini Fernandes says that a program to quarantine corona patients who do not show symptoms of the disease in their homes themselves is to be implemented with effect from next Monday. The State Minister has made these remarks while engaging in an observational tour at 117 calling centre established at the Disaster Management Centre. The calling centre has been established with the aim of identifying COVID-19 infected patients and directing them to hospitals. Major General Sunanda Ranasinghe is the Director General Operations of the centre. A group of Sri Lankan police officials and members of 3 armed forces as well as a medical team will engage in duties in this connection from next Monday. It has also been reported that the number of those who have received the first dose of the vaccine under the COVID-19 immunization program has increased to 1.26 million and 6,677. The number of those who have received the first dose of the Sinopharm vaccine and the second dose of the Covishield vaccine yesterday amounted to 73,267. In addition, the first dose of the Sinopharm vaccine has also been delivered to 61,882 persons yesterday. Accordingly, the total number of those who have received the Sinopharm vaccine has reached 276,762. The second dose of the Covishield vaccine has also been given to 11,385 persons yesterday. Accordingly, the total number of so far received the Covishield vaccine is 56,004. A further 1,786 COVID-19 patients were detected today. 1,352 fully recovered patients have left the hospitals today. Accordingly, the total recoveries in the country has increased up to 117,220. A total of 21,730 COVID-19 patients are still receiving treatment in hospitals. A COVID-19 infected expectant female patient admitted to the Kurunegala Teaching Hospital has died due to complications of the disease after delivering the baby yesterday. The victim was a 28-year-old resident in Kobegane. She was earlier admitted to the Nikavarati Hospital for delivery. However, due to an intensification of the epileptic condition, she was transferred to the Kurunegala Teaching Hospital. It has been confirmed upon conducting of PCR test that she was a COVID-19 infected patient. A cesarean surgery has been performed for the delivery of the infant. The doctor says that baby is in good health condition. A centre has been established at the prison's headquarters to provide information on COVID-infected detainees to their relatives, and information could be received through telephone number 0114-677-101 only if the detainee is a COVID-infected patient. 29 COVID-19 related deaths have been reported yesterday. The victims were from Nuwara Eliya, Horana, Trincomalee, Nelundaniya, Namutuduwa, Matugama, Panthura, Ambalangoda and Rathgama. In addition, corona deaths were reported from Nagoda, Moratuwa, Wakwalle, Katugastuda, Hikkaduwa, Gingtota, Colombo 5, Valigampala, Galenbinduruwa and Polgazovita. Some other COVID-19 related deaths have been reported from Jaela, Boralasgamuha, Kandana, Peradeniya, Point Pedro, Borlanda, Wattala and Kalaniya. Minister Namal Rajapaksa has visited the COVID patient ward in Ambalantota today to look into the shortcomings. Hambantota District Secretary T. Sumanaswekara has also accompanied the minister. Meanwhile, provision of relief to those in the Colombo district affected by the corona pandemic is being conducted continuously. Colombo District Secretary Pradeep Yasaratna said that 36,435 families undergoing quarantine in the Colombo district have been provided with essential food items valued at 325 million rupees. He further said that they take measures immediately to provide an essential food items valued at 10,000 rupees to each family immediately after such a family confined to quarantine. The District Secretary also said that each family in Graminadhari division is an isolated area are also given essential food items valued at 5,000 rupees upon the isolation period pauses and the duration of 1 week. At the end of each week, a ration for the provision of food items is being maintained. He added that under the program, so far 276,124 families in the Colombo district have been provided at the 5,000 rupee essential food ration at a cost of 1,397 million rupees.
Now, Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Siddharth Samaravira has made a clarification on the increase of the daily COVID-19 related deaths amid the island-wide COVID-19 pandemic.
We can see that there are some increased number of deaths reported every day. In between 20 to 30 deaths are reported several days. This can happen because of two things. That one thing is that we are reporting the deaths not on the same day. Some deaths are reported to us sometimes later. The reason is that cause of death is given after the post-mortem or an inquest. So it takes time. Only that we will be able to declare the death. In addition, that we can see that when the cases are increased, the number of deaths also increase. Because of that, deaths that we are reporting also increase.
And now moving to the world update of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's from India. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi sounded the alarm over the rapid spread of the coronavirus through India's vast countryside yesterday as the official tally of infections crossed 24 million and 4,000 people died for the third straight day.
India's COVID-19 infections crossed 24 million on Friday as the country's outbreak stretches into neighboring Nepal. A highly transmissible variant of the virus has wreaked havoc across India's rural areas, where 2/3 of the country's population have limited access to health care. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said his government was on a war footing to contain the infections. On Friday, Eid celebrations marking the end of Ramadan were subdued as most states imposed lockdowns and closed down mosques. Modi has come under increasing pressure to impose a national lockdown as the variant first detected within India's borders spreads around the globe. Its northern neighbor Nepal has seen 57 times more COVID-19 infections compared to a month ago. As the country's death toll surges, officials in Kathmandu are scrambling to cremate bodies and create space near riverbanks for funerals. The fresh outbreak there has also led to a shortage of hospital beds and medical supplies. Nearly half of the COVID tests in Nepal last week came back positive, according to the Red Cross, but only 1% of the population has been fully vaccinated. The country's prime minister has been forced to step down over his response to the crisis. Several countries have extended their travel bans on India to include Nepal, as well as Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh.
Now, the JICA, or the Japan International Cooperation Agency, has come forward to extend assistance to the COVID-19 control program in Sri Lanka. The value of the JICA aid amounts to 350 million rupees. Attention has been drawn onto the provision of several equipment, including respiratory apparatus, intensive care unit beds and ultrasound scanners under the JICA Aid program to Sri Lanka. The items are to be delivered to 4 selected hospitals in the island, namely the base hospitals in Varakapula, Teldeniya, Valikanda and Pimpura. In addition, a PCR laboratory is to be constructed in the Hambantota General Hospital. Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Major General Dr. Sanjeeva Munasinghe, and the Sri Lankan representative of the JICA Institute, Yamada Tetsuya, have signed the agreement in this regard.
And on a different note, Israel destroyed a 12-story tower block in Gaza, housing officers of the US-based Associated Press. Another news and evening says the building was also used by the Islamist military group Hamas. At least 140 Palestinians, including 39 children, have been killed in the Gaza Strip since Monday. The Al Jalal building in Gaza City, which also houses the offices of Qatar-based broadcaster Al Jazeera as well as other offices and apartments, has been evacuated after the owner received advanced warning of the impending strike. A Palestinian journalist was wounded in the strike, Palestinian media reported, and debris and shrapnel flew dozens of yards away. The Israel military said its fighter jet struck a military-story building which contained military assets belonging to the intelligence officers of the Hamas terror organization. It said that it had proved advanced warning to civilians in the building, allowing them to get out. And President and CEO Gary Pruitt called the strike an incredibly disturbing development and said a dozen of journalists and freelancers had been in the building and has been evacuated in time. Al Jazeera released a statement condemning the destruction of Gaza office in the strongest terms, saying it's mounted to killing the messenger. Some 950 Palestinians have been wounded in the clashes since last Monday. It is the occupied West Bank. Israel forces have killed at least 13 Palestinians. Confrontations between Israel police and Palestinian demonstrators continued in the night in occupied East Jerusalem. And back with stories from home, the Ministry of Agriculture says adequate quantities of chemical fertilizer are available in the country. Stay tuned for this news after this break. Welcome back. And the Ministry of Agriculture says adequate quantities of chemical fertilizer are available in the country for the yellow season. A ban on imported chemical fertilizer and the use of pesticide and weedicides will come into effect from the upcoming Maha season. The Agrarian Services Centre says distribution of fertilizer is being carried out without any interruption. The Department of Agrarian Services says that adequate fertilizer stocks are remain at storages in Anuradhapura, Hambantota and Kurunegala districts. Distribution of necessary fertilizer stocks to the farmers has been carried out today as well, despite the imposition of travel restrictions. The objective of the government is to distribute fertilizer without any shortage for the yellow season, despite whatever impediments arisen due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And meanwhile, Attorney General Dappula Dirivela has informed and forwarded a summary of evidence on 42 suspects connected to the Easter attack to the Inspector General of Police. Coordinating official of the Attorney General and State Counsel Nishara Jayaratna has disclosed this fact to the media. Coordinating official of the Attorney General and State Counsel Nishana Jaratna said that a summary of testimonies pertaining to 42 suspects connected to the April 21st East attack and conspiracy has been forwarded to the Inspector General of Police by the Attorney General on the 12th of this month. The 130-page document has been made an inquiry on mainly 3 factors. The first factor deals with all evidence which could be applied against 42 suspects in a court of law. The second factor involves on evidence which could be made available against a suspect in a court of law, in addition to the summary of evidence. The other factor is regarding the incomplete investigation on 5 of the suspects. These suspects are Muhammad Azim, Muhammad Rizwan, Muhammad Wakar Yuniz, Muhammad Vazan, Shaul Hamid, Hamiz Muhammad. The document further requests to confirm whether investigations on 29 other suspects have been completed in addition to these 5 suspects.
Now, a 7-day Pirit chanting of the Ratana and Girimananda Sutras extending blessings of good health to the people of the country has commenced at the Abyrama Vihara in Narayanpeta today. The Mahasangha, headed by Chief Incumbent of the Bellamvilla Raja Mahavihara, Venerable Professor Bellamvilla Dhammaratana Thera, Chief Incumbent of the Abyrama Vihara in Narayanpeta, Venerable Muruthettuwe Ananda Thera, and Venerable Dr. Kiranda Assaji Thera of the Gangarama Vihara have commenced Pirit chanting at 6 p.m. today. It will be conducted till 6 a.m. on the 21st of this month. Venerable Muruthettuwe Ananda Thera says that the program is being conducted on the instructions of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. A group including Ministers Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, Uday Gammampila, State Ministers Sri Jayasekara, P.L. Nishanta and Parliamentarian Vijaydas Rajapaksa have attended the ceremony.
And with that, we conclude tonight's news. Join us tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe. Good night.
Good night.